Hello, this is Adrian from AquaticAdventurA, and I thought I'd take a moment to share with you the impact of duckweed on your freshwater aquarium when it involves both turtles and fish. So, I thought you might be familiar with my fish tank here. This is my 75-gallon. It does have duckweed in it. I get it from a local garden center during the summer months anyway, not during the winter right now. It's November. So I haven't restocked, but there's still quite a bit in here. You'll notice there's some problems with it that I'd like to go over with you, and also you can maybe see the benefits. I think it looks, it adds a nice swampy feel to the tank. So yeah, what happens is, because in a freshwater aquarium setup that does involve turtles, we can't use glass across the top of our aquarium. This is because it blocks out the UVB lights, which are important for our turtles' health. Here's mine here. This blocks the UVB light from reaching your turtles and can cause them health problems. So we use a mesh or a grating over top instead, or sometimes just an open tank. With the fish though, I would recommend that you do have it covered. They can jump, and you don't want fish all over your floor. It's just not good for you, it's not good for them. So in this case, this means that we get a lot of water evaporation going on. So you'll notice I fill my fish tank to about here, when I do refill it. Of course, over the course of the week, the water level drops quite significantly actually. It's about 2 inches there of drop, and it leaves the duckweed behind as the meniscus curve sort of plasters it against your tank walls, so it can look a little bit dirty. Also, if you have a lot of duckweed in your tank, when your turtles get out to bask, they can become these weird swamp monsters covered in duckweed. So what I've done to help keep this from happening is set up the water flow such that it shoots out this way along the tank, which is great, but also I put an air stone just below the outtake, I guess, for the water. This causes the air bubbles to shoot across the surface of the water and pushes the duckweed into the back corner here, so that when the turtles get out to bask, they're not covered in it, and they seem to be a little bit happier about that. I did have duckweed in this setup as well. It's a much smaller tank, gonna need to upgrade it pretty soon. So here's Squirt, and when Squirt would get out of the water when there was duckweed in this tank, obviously I didn't have an air stone set up or anything like that, and there would be quite a bit of duckweed all over him. He wasn't too happy about that. So that's something to watch out for. Also, if you're going to add duckweed, you might want to think about adding a light. This is a specialized light for growing plants in aquariums. You're going to have to buy a special bulb. They can be a little bit expensive. If you're not used to buying specialized bulbs, be ready to pull out your pocketbook. It's not cheap, but I think it's worth it. And there you go. So what happens is, when I do clean up this tank, I'll have to scrub down the sides so that I don't have duckweed stuck underneath the water level. And that's about it. The turtles do eat the duckweed, so do the fish. Especially, there's one lucky feeder fish, goldfish, that has managed to survive for a couple weeks now. He likes to chat on it. And so it adds some health benefits to your tank. It adds some great, I think, vibes to your tank, a nice swampy feel. One other drawback actually that I'm thinking about right now is that when the duckweed eventually does, if you're disturbing the surface of the water, eventually does get down into your filter intake, it can get a little bit messy. As you can see there, my filter intake needs to be cleaned out. I've tried using a sponge to cover the filter intake, that is. However, I've found it can get clogged up pretty quick, so I've gone back to just letting it go into my filter, and I clean out my filter regularly anyway. And that's about it. So I hope you enjoy the video, and I'll just give you one more shot of the duckweed as we clear out here. And if you're considering adding duckweed to your tank and you're ready to deal with the ramifications of doing so, then I wish you the best luck. Alright, take care.